true freedom is already present, very, very, very deep inside. It's our very nature. It's the very utmost nature of who we are, the essence of our heart and soul. When you go finally to the depth where there is no more going, and that's what it is. It's because it is so pure, so beautiful, so peaceful that you have such a hard time in your life. And because you have a hard time, because you don't recognize that. You don't see it. When we don't see it, we don't recognize it, we don't feel it, we don't completely feel what it is and able to recognize it and express it and live it in our life, we're bound to be unhappy. We're bound to be unhappy because that is our happiness. So when we're looking for happiness by shifting around situation, right? Buying a new car. I'll get a hybrid. When I get the hybrid, I'll be the happiest person on earth. Right? Some people might feel that way for a little while, you see. Just traveling around for a while, I just realized this joke works in Berkeley pretty good, but not in many other places. Some of the places I was in, they wouldn't care less. Who wants a hybrid? So the idea here, or the insight, is that we are already in our depth, in our very nature, this luminous purity, is perfection. Perfection that is really the source of anything, any good, true good feeling that happened to us. It's the cause of our misery in some sense, because if it wasn't like that, if we weren't so pure and free deep inside, we didn't care about being free or not. We simply won't miss it. But because we are deeply like that, and deeply in the depth, the real, true happiness, true love, true peace, true sort of understanding and love, we miss it when we don't feel it. But also, this situation is the cause of our difficulties, but is also the solution, the possibility for that kind of happiness, that kind of peacefulness, that kind of contentment that imagine many of us aspire to. But that situation, it creates a paradox that is the very kernel, the very essence of the dilemma of inner search, which is will be when we feel the urge or the drive for the spiritual, for the enlightenment, for the illumination, or for whatever way we feel it. We start looking and we start wanting, and we start getting engaged in ways that simply don't work. And they simply don't work because what we're looking for is not somewhere else. It's right here. See? So what do you do with something you already are, but you don't experience? something that it is your very nature, in fact, closer to you than anything else. It is more you than you ever think, than what anybody else think, including your husband and your wife. They don't really. It's closer to you than they think, not just what you think. How do you attain something you already got? How do you come close to something that is closer to you than anything else? You see? How do you achieve something that you already have? It's like saying, I want to achieve breathing. Well, you're already breathing. But you might not know it, you see. And you say, I'm going to work on breathing. Practice breathing from now on. I'll do breathing exercise, so I'll learn breathing. Well, you already breathe. You know, if you didn't breathe, you won't be alive. But now I have to do my breathing exercise. Otherwise, I might stop breathing. You see, it's a similar thing. It's a paradox. It's a dilemma, really. And because many of the teaching have recognized that, they've devised all kind of sort of odd ways of how to resolve that dilemma. You see, basically, it amounts to most of the teaching saying that all the spiritual practice and exercises you know are really just to acquaint you with the dilemma. They're not to solve it. They're to acquaint you at some point that it is really a big dilemma. You're trying to get something you already have. You're going someplace to find something where you already are. You are traveling to get to where you are. You're journeying, it's called a journey, or the spiritual. You're journeying far away, all the way, God knows where, to Kathmandu maybe, to find yourself. But yourself is really Berkeley, exactly, right in your apartment, right in front of your computer. Okay. And because of that situation, many spiritual teaching, after they have all these stages of what you could do, they always reserve the last stage for resolving the dilemma. You see, how to resolve the dilemma of not going about accomplishing something that's already here. You see, and we call it all kind of names, like Chinese Wu Wei, which is non-action, not doing. You get to the place, you do all these practices, all these visualizations, you move your chi, and you energize your chakras, and all of that. So finally you realize after all of these things, finally you need to stop all of it. And that's, if you don't stop all of it, you're going to be frustrated. Kashmir Shaivism call it Anupaya Yoga. They have many yogas, one after the other. It's one of the big non-dual teachings in India. You go through one yoga after another, and the final yoga is Anupaya Yoga, which means no yoga, basically, which is how to stop doing all of those things that are interfering with the situation. Buddhism calls it non-meditation. The stage of non-meditation, you meditate, and you have all kinds of meditation and visualization and practices and chanting and all of that. After you do all of those, finally they tell you, okay, now you're going to practice non-meditation, which is what? Which is not to do anything. But how do you do nothing? See? And if we come to more Western tradition, they talk about surrender, for instance. Letting grace happen, because you can't do it. Because by trying to do it, you're standing your own way.